p.m. on Monday, April the 14th, 2025. Mr. Teachner, would you mind?
Jerry, you need one of these?
Thank you so much for you today. It was wonderful chance to come together and do your business, Lord. I pray for all our hearts, Lord, and thank you for all the things, all the miracles that you've got working that we don't even know about, Lord. And I just thank you for all the blessings that you give. And I thank you for always being our Lord, please don't pull away from Sumner County, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray, Lord. Amen.
Let's get music to go along with there.
That's my mom. She's bad at the bone. She's on the emergency bypass for so she's.
Oh, do you need to take it?
I don't.
Yeah.
She's always forgets we have meetings on Monday nights, so I'll be calling and ask if I have a meeting. So my mother. So I have a motion for the approval agenda.
Are you saying?
Was that what you were going to ask about? I think we're good right now. Okay. Got a motion, you said, motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Teacher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Approval of minutes from March 6, 2025, do I have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Teacher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Recognition of the public, seeing if there is none, we'll close public comments. Report of the chairman, I have none at the moment. Report of the county mayor.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Old business, item A, discussion of property such as appraisal, election value concerns. Make a motion for discussion, I want to get a few real quick. Second by Commissioner Miller, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Commissioner Shoaf, last month, you were going to work with the IT department on seeing if they could extrapolate this data, but also it appears that on budget last month, the commission approved $6,000 to pay this company for that. So would you like to give us an update on this?
Yeah, so we did approve it in budget, but I did not, but what we removed it from the full commission.
Okay, I can remember.
Yeah, because I moved to, remove it from the full commission because I'd forgotten that we had that. But I'm going to tell myself here, I have failed to follow up here, but I will do that tomorrow. That way we have something. I just didn't do it. So
I guess we will. If you want to keep the business or move it to.
Let's do this. If y'all are okay with it, if we can just give me a second, that way we can move it to budget, and that way I can do a little digging, and then we have an option to. Well, we can do budget today. It doesn't really matter. So,
I would recommend, if it's on budget, just move it forward, and that gives you a week. Then we can always take it off of the full commission agenda.
Okay.
If need be.
That's fine.
This is my suggestion.
I'll second that. Is that a suggestion or a motion?
This is a suggestion.
Is it already on budget again?
No, it's not.
And
It's not clarified, or given a chance to change the motion to something else.
Yeah, I mean, I can add it.
I'll make a motion to, well,
whatever it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
I make a motion to move to budget.
Second. And
Can you just add it at the beginning of the agenda?
yes.
Commissioner Teacher.
One quick, just procedural, are we able to, with it being discussion?
Yeah, what way?
Are we able to move it with it being under discussion?
Yes. Yeah, that's just a label I get.
Yeah.
Whether it's make a difference.
I didn't carry the way, I just want to make sure.
No. So, I mean, I don't see Mr. Rogers brought this up. He hadn't been here a couple months and heard it. So, I mean, it's, we try to solve this problem. Can we extrapolate this data for free or not? It's not costing any more money. So I say we send it to the budget this time since Mr. Shoaf, you're going to be handling that.
Yeah.
So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to remove this from old business for next month. Item 9A, Veteran Service Report Presentation. Mr. Oshie, or just.
Thank you, sir. I think you see in the report, we had quite a few widows that we helped out last month for whatever reason. A lot of them were cases where either the widow didn't think she was eligible for something, or the VA had been kind of kicking the can for a long period of time. Three of them out in particular, we noted them in there. We also talked about how we went help a veteran who's in jail. A couple other veterans are homeless, get some temporary lodging. Kind of making the difference with some of the same stuff. The two things at the top I do want to draw some attention to, the state is changing the veterans management software that we use. They're going to do it statewide. They're rolling it out in May. One impact is that the format that you see, like the reports that we are able to generate, mainly pulled from the old software system. So we're going to see what kind of reports we're going to be able to get as we come forward. So just ask for a little bit of forbearance as we transition to this new system. It takes a little bit of time to learn and kind of get through the curve. And then the other part was in the budget. They kind of been pointing out some of the backlog. We're still at about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We've not really been able to close that much. And so we're going to be asking for another part-time veteran service officer so we can make sure we always have someone at the desk to answer the phones. But we're still one of the few counties that takes walk-ins. I think it's really important that we do because we get a lot of folks coming in from the clerk's office or coming in from the VA clinic in Gallatin who know that they need some help. They don't quite know what to do. So we're just asking for your support to go forward and doing that. That's it. Any questions?
Any questions from the students? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Item B, Sumner Robertson County Mutual Aid Agreement from HMS Committee. I'll make a motion for discussion. All in favor,
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. I just want to get in queue real quick here. This was sent from the HMS Committee, I guess in March. I don't know why I didn't make it to our committee back in March as well. But the packet says basically there was no changes and no recommendations from HMS. And so I really don't think there's, unless it's objection, I don't think there's anything to add to this. So there's really nothing to move forward. The agreement is just, it is as it is in place, and there's nothing changing or wrong with it, so it stays. It's just the only part of the resolution was that it was reviewed every 2 years, which it was reviewed by the HMS committee. And obviously we've had a chance to on the public agenda for a week. I don't have any questions or additions from what HMS discussed or any changes from that. So without objection, I move just to drop this from the agenda.
I just have one thing.
Okay, Commissioner Keegan.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just want to make sure that, Commissioner Wynn spoke about it. He knew a little bit more about it, and he actually briefed us, he was able to speak during the HMS, committee. And then I believe I spoke with, Mr. Sitter about it, and what it was is we determined that it was just something that needed to be before here, just in case there was something legally, because we didn't think we should be making legal decisions. It should be more of a legislative kind of thing. Just trying to do it procedural. So I didn't have anything against what was on the way it was. I just want to make sure that it was all free and clear and just move forward, to where they've got whatever light needs to get on there from the commission or whatever. So that's all. That's the only reason behind all that.
Okay. Well, without any objection, I say we'll just remove it from the, there's no action to take, so we'll just remove
Yeah,
that.
so there's no changes to this?
Nope, nothing.
Okay.
HMS did not make any changes. It was approved as it is, what it was 2 years ago. So we will remove that from the agenda. All right, item C is establishing the service animal policy. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Sho. Mr. Long, right? Well, motion to discuss.
Okay, good.
By
Second.
Commissioner Sho and,
I mean, that's not our
Second
second.
Miller, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Do you have some changes to this?
Yes,
Water record?
through the eagle eyes of a fellow commissioner, there's a couple of changes I would like to introduce here. I was not broad enough to encompass employees as well. So on page 44, if you go to the first line, this is what I think it needs to say.
What page, 40?
44, the first line, Sumner County facilities shall permit service animals into facilities for employee, patient, and/or guest.
I'll move to, are there any others?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Change number one.
And there's 2 changes. Change number 2 is this under applicability. I would like that to read, if you all see fit, this policy applies to all, this policy applies to employees and guests to all Sumner County facilities and/or departments.
One question about that wording.
Hold on, so you said this policy applies to employees and guests?
To all Sumner County facilities and/or departments, so yes.
All right, Commissioner Jones?
Sumner County government facilities or every single facility in Sumner County?
Sumner County, well, it's facilities owned by Sumner County.
Okay, because that could be interpreted,
I understood
Every
it could be,
business
but I've got no authority over that.
Yeah.
how about we just add, this policy applies to employees and guests to all Sumner County-owned facilities and.
That works.
Okay.
Owned or leased facilities.
Okay, I will, make a motion to approve this.
Are you through?
Oh,
I know, it's all.
oh, you're in queue, sorry.
Commissioner Becker.
Should we, on that section, should we say patients also? Or are we gonna leave patients out? Like, the first line, it's employees, patients, and or guests, but now we're saying policy applies to employees
Oh,
and
That,
guests.
that,
I think should be patients as well.
that mirrors it better, so I would agree.
And then the first line of the, if we're gonna do Sumner County-owned facilities, might as well throw it in
Yeah,
there.
that makes sense.
And there's the third or fourth paragraph that says the same thing. So really, anywhere where it says Sumner County facilities, we say Sumner County-owned.
Or lease.
Owned or leased facilities.
Okay, I can
You
take
could
care of all
just
that.
say Sumner County government facilities, right?
I'll make the motion, and I'll make this, okay, so the motion is to change every, instance where it says Sumner County facilities to state Sumner County, owned or, facilities owned or leased by Sumner County. And then on line 1, change it to, service animals into facilities for employees, patients, and or guests with disabilities, continue. And then under applicability, we already have changed employees, to owned or leased, but we would add, this policy applies to inject employees, patients, and guests of all Sumner County facilities. So we'll continue with the owned and or leased.
In
That's
any
my
other
motion.
instances when it talks
In
about.
any other instance where it says that, you change it out to owned and or leased.
All right, is everybody clear on that?
I'm unclear on one thing, you've changed the heading as well.
Facilities owned.
You said
or
Sumner
leased.
County facilities owned or leased by Sumner County.
It says facilities owned, or, it starts with facilities, owned or leased by Sumner County.
Check that phrase before the word Sumner.
Yes.
And is that carrying through, such as paragraph 4?
Yes.
The individual may continue to use county services at facilities owned or leased by Sumner County.
Correct.
Without.
It's the exact same language. Everywhere it says Sumner County facilities, it says facilities owned or leased by Sumner County.
Second.
All right, question, Mr. Teacher.
Yes, I think we have one amendment to that. I agree with everything that's been said, except purpose. If you say, it says, it's the same thing, just as Commissioner Becker just mentioned, just put, employees, patients, and or guests, or whatever, just make sure it's the same thing all the way.
Yeah. You don't have to make an amendment. Yes, employees, patients, and guests, and or guests.
Yeah,
And
second's
then
good.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Do we have to have a way for miniature horse, they'll get to get
This is
inside?
law,
Okay, will they be able to get inside of like, wherever?
we're gonna have to figure it out because there's a case law on it.
There's a case law that says a miniature
Well, those
horse.
horses
Yes.
are elevators.
It's any dog or miniature horse.
Okay.
Was there any-
Look, this is one of these things that's like, look, it's an edge case.
How ridiculous do you want to be here?
There's no such thing as perfect policy. I'm just,
Commissioner Jones.
Is there classifications on what can be a service animal? I don't think there is.
Dogs and miniature horses.
So it's only two?
Yep.
I thought there was cats and everything else too.
Those are emotional support animals, they are not ADA animals.
Okay, so there's a difference in classification for ADA
Yes.
and, okay. Well, that's good to know, because there's a lot of businesses that don't know the difference.
If you get enough attorneys involved, I can make this go 900 ways.
I'm good with, I'm not changing.
We have a
mine.
motion, we have a second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right. Item D, clarification and or rule change to make up a legislative committee. This, I added at the request of the county law director, chairman of financial management committee kind of brought up or identified ambiguity in language in our standing rules of policy where it talks about legislative is made up of standing committees and the chairman of them. Unfortunately, the problem with that is that I guess it could be interpreted as broadly or narrowly as you want to. The tourism board could be a standing committee, and so could the planning commission could be a standing committee. As historically, the standing committees have only been health and emergency services, like committee on committees, general operations, highway, education, and budget. The reason being is because they meet, one definition of standing is those who meet regularly, meaning like every month. Financial management has never met more than 3 to 4 or 5 times in the history of it. I've been on this commission. I know prior, Beer Board has not ever met more than, some years they don't meet at all, so more than 2 or 3 times. So they never, for decades, they've never been a part of legislative or considered it, but because the language has not been defined, I guess it's a good thing to define that language. I know Mr. Lauder has been cleaning up ambiguities in languages and contracts from previous commissions or water departments or county mayors for the past 2 decades plus as well, finding problems where things do not lack specificity and causing problems. And is that correct? So,
This is a big one of them.
so I'm going to make a motion that we send to the full commission on Monday a clarification that standing committees are comprised of the historical precedent of standing committees, health and emergency services, committee of committees, general operations, highway, education, and budget. And that's the clarification of what those standing committees are. My motion. And a motion is second. Is there any discussion? Send to the full commission for clarification.
Okay. So in the clarification, so we're, just, let me get in queue here. So what we're recommending that we keep, is it a point of clarification or is it we're recommending to keep what we've got? Like keep it made up this way?
It's both. I mean, because it's clarifying that these are the standing committees.
Okay.
They always have been.
So we're basically asking we're saying that we're asking the commission we're making a recommendation for the commission to define
Standing committees.
what as it stands now.
I mean, otherwise this can be very.
Yeah, I mean, it gets unwieldy. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
based on definition, but I'm just going by historical precedence of,
Okay.
I don't know how many decades that we've only had 6 standing committees, these being a makeup generally of these committees. Commissioner Becker.
In our rules and procedures, is it under reports of standing committees, it lists the 6 that we're talking about, so it's.
Okay,
to
so
me,
it is defined.
I mean, it's, yes, it is. I mean, it's listed in there. I mean, if we want to define it even better, but yeah, I'm looking under reports of the chair, reports of the county clerk, reports of standing committees. There's committee on committees, education, highway, gen ops, emergency services, legislative, budget.
So that's the definition of standing committees already exists. I don't think we need to do it solid.
Did Mr. Ike, were you in queue, Mr. Ike?
Yeah, I think, in the event that, the commission chose to have financial management become the budget committee, which it can, the financial management can become the budget committee of any commission. I think in that event, we should say, that the, financial management, would become a member.
I get what you're saying, yes.
I mean, I don't,
Instead of,
I get what you're saying, but I don't, until, if that happens, I think we should cross that bridge when we get there. I don't think we should make a change now.
he was saying instead of, if it ever took place.
But I mean, it's a hypothetical at this point.
Can I just ask, I didn't want to interrupt you, Mr. Ike. I just had a question. What was can I just get an understanding of what the impetus of this is? Like where it is, there's clearly some reason to think that the definition that we have in the rules of what our standing committees are is incongruent with what something else says. So I'm just trying to understand, like, is there a conflict somewhere? Is there something we're trying to fix?
I just did not, I'm glad Commissioner Becker, pointed out. I did not think I missed any other spot that this was in the rules, that it definitely defines it before we get there, Commissioner Becker.
Yeah, I think maybe some of the confusion, in my opinion, because I was the financial management chair for a few years back, several years ago. And financial management is always listed on the commission, the full commission agenda at the very end. It's like the last committee report. And I always was curious why it was even listed there, because it's not a standing committee. So that might play into, like, here on this, there's other reports, but maybe that's why financial management's on the commission agenda.
I mean, it could be beer board, it could be.
Correct,
All the same
but
thing.
I think that might be, in my opinion, might be where some of the confusion came from.
Has financial management always been on the agenda?
It has.
I didn't remember it I just didn't pay attention to it, I guess I didn't see that.
It's been on since, this commission's been on there.
It's been on there.
Okay.
And I'm not necessarily sure why, but, you know, rarely will there, has there ever been, yeah.
I mean, just to be clear here, I don't have a problem with, you know, in theory with, you know, adding financial management, if that's the intent. I'm happy to talk about that, but like, to the chairman's point here, like, we've been operating this way for a long time, and if you open the one door, then it does appear that you could go down a path. Like, I just would want to know what the compelling reason is to add. I mean, is there a plan to change for financial management to take over budget? I genuinely don't know.
No, not on my part. I'm just saying, there are counties with financial management committees that the commission delegates them to be the budget committee, and they are by law can become a commission's budget committee. If the commission ever were to do that, then we wouldn't be represented unless could be some more statement in there with potentially.
The commission ever changed that.
Yeah, if we
changed
trust
language,
them,
we
we
get
get
back.
I would hope we would think to do that. Would you remind us?
Okay.
Mr. Loderick, you raised your hand.
Yeah,
I
you go further down this, the other problem we run into is under, I think it's D, committees, and under section 11, Roman numeral 11, it says standing committees and subcommittees, and financial management is listed within there as a standing committee.
Where is this?
Yeah, that's
On
true,
page
further,
7.
page
So
8.
they don't, I guess they're just not required to do a report based on the way we're interpreting the other reporting parts.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, audit committee is also listed there.
Yeah. But it referenced that as a standing committee.
I'm trying to find where you're at, sir.
It's on page 8 of the rules and procedures.
7, 8, and 9.
Pages 7, 8, and 9. I'm not finding it, so. I don't have an 11, so.
It's Roman numeral 11.
Okay, gotcha.
And the heading of that is standing committees and subcommittees.
I got you as far as the confusion there. Yeah, I guess it's inconsistencies. First thing. First was pointed out, beginning reports of standing committee, being committee on committees, education, highway, and ops, emergency, legislative, budget, and that's on page 4. Reports on standing committees. So I think that was, I don't know, I just, you what?
I think Commissioner Boyd had a question.
Okay, is there a motion to suspend the rule for Commissioner
I'll
Boyd?
make
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hines, second by Commissioner Sho. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Commissioner Boyd?
The reason for financial management is doing the committee. It's one of the few statutory standing committees that we have. I mean, that's again, maybe financial management hasn't met in the past, but we have met. We've met for the last 12 months. We have so much in front of us that needs to hit the legislative table. We have policies and procedures that need correcting. We have a purchasing committee that hasn't been formed and never reviewed. I don't know, Mr. Beckerman can answer that, if we've ever actually had a purchasing committee that functions under financial management. Needs to be established policy committee. Investment, we have no policies, no way, we have no oversight of investments in the county. So a lot of things that are in financial management actually need to come through legislation. And it is a statutory committee. And that is why I brought it to the board's attention. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Terry. So I'm gonna bring you guys in order. I guess, for example, 2019 through 22, 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, financial management met 3 times. 23, they did meet 5 times. 24, they met 7 times. As far as committees, so I guess as needed. So I don't know. It's just up to the, what the will of the body is. I guess we need to clarify language on what a standing committee is, and what a standing committee is not. So
I'm just, go ahead. I interrupted.
I mean, I made a motion just for clarity's sake, that the 6 standing committees as part of legislative was Health and Emergency Service, Community Committee, General Office, Highway, and Education Budget. They're the ones that do meet regularly, as one of the definitions. But I know that, the Financial Management Committee also by state law can have citizens on it as well. In the past 2 years, we had a citizen be the chairman of that. And I don't know how that would work with having a non-elected official and legislative, basically a Sumner County business from that legislative standpoint. You got a conflict there. So I mean, you just kind of open up Pandora's box. But I mean, my motion is to keep with Commissioner Becker pointed out on page 4, reports of the standing committees as such, and that's the standing committees that make up legislative. That's my motion.
I'll second this. Did somebody second
She
already?
had seconded it already.
Okay, I have a question.
Commissioner Jones. But, I mean, it's whatever the will of the body is. I mean, I don't care.
If we go forward with your motion, where will be the clarification of it, since the rules do list it 2 different ways as far as what a standing committee is? Will there be just a new rule implemented that declares what they are?
I mean, I think it'd be a clarification under this legislative committee structure, the standing committees being,
These are the
these are the reports of the standing committee.
These are they.
Correct. And do we need to remove financial management from being, one of the standing committees listed?
Well, the reason why I asked, Mr. Chairman, we never hear the report of the legislative committee, of the financial committee and the full commission.
There never has been. That was Commissioner Becker's point, so.
So, by doing that, would we just remove that, since it's, like you said, it seems like a copy paste anyway, we never hear a report of the commission anyway.
That's outside of the purview of what we're discussing here, that's a whole separate issue.
Well, if we deem it not a standing committee, it would thereby easily get removed.
That's a commission decision, though.
My recommendation is defining the makeup of the legislative committee, since we've defined it elsewhere, is just defining it based on what page 4.
Page 4, paragraph.
What page 4, paragraph 11, section 11, reports of standing committees being command committees, education, highway, general office, emergency services. I mean, in budget, those 6 committees make up the
So
legislative.
you're going to point to that specific page and paragraph.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just introducing new language to what the definition is.
But when you make that legislative, you're going to say it's based on this line. If that makes sense to me.
Well, I mean, that's how it's always been for the commission, that's how it's
That
been
makes sense.
historically. I mean, it just makes, I don't know, it just makes sense. That was my motion, that was my second. I mean, whatever the will of the body is, but it just makes sense to me since it's been pointed out, and there's a conflict.
I'm gonna vote for that, because I'm kind of the opinion at this juncture that it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But if there is a compelling reason in the future, like somebody can, Ms. Boyd made some comments about some things that might be changed. I'm not at this juncture willing to go and make a change based on that. But if there in the future, if there's a compelling argument, or there's a change to the makeup, I could potentially be for it. But at this point, I don't see a compelling reason, so I'm going to support it.
Okay, so that, with my clear restatement of motion, it's just on page 8, basically, the chair of all standing committees, and those committees being, how the water rate think it should be, being these committees that are listed in page 4, minus legislative, basically, it's Health and Emergency Services, committees, Gen Ops, Highway, Education, Budget, keeping with standard and precedent, and that's just keeping cleaning that up, so if there's ambiguity there. Obviously, there's not ambiguity in the front, there's ambiguity on page 8, it just kind of, so.
So there's not an ambiguity on the commission report?
No, that's what I'm saying, there's not ambiguity there, I said that, my apologies. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm going to have to vote no, Mr. Chairman, because I do think that by code, financial management is a pretty important committee, and just because sometime it may be 20 years from now, the commission says we're not having a budget committee, and by code, financial management picks up that responsibility, just for clarity. But I'm defined.
Totally understand that. I'm of the opinion that if that ever did happen, the commission would just obviously need to change it, because the rules the budget committee just disappears, and the rules only talk about the budget committee, then that would be more of a common sense thing at that point. And obviously, there's the conflict of, you're going to have a citizen be the chairman of on the legislative function.
You don't have to have a citizen.
But there could be. Statutorily, it's allowed. So that was my point. Commissioner Becker.
I agree with your motion here. I was.
We already voted something, sorry, I apologize.
Did we already say?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So I think we also need to consider moving on page 8 and 9, the financial management committee and the audit committee into a different section. I don't know if we need to do that now or just.
That was his
That's what I said.
idea.
We're in a purview discussion right now, but I do think we need to follow up with that.
It just needs to be a separate issue, that's all I'm saying.
Let's just put that on there for next.
Okay, or we can.
I'm
I'm okay to adding it right now.
Second.
So I'll make a motion to move financial management committee and audit committee from page 8 and 9. Those are numbers 7 and 9, so there would be renumbering of the other listed. And move those under current item 10 that call out other statutory committees and commissions. So it would be a subset
We
there.
got a motion by Commissioner Becker, second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion?
I guess I just have a question, because and I think it's for our law director. So we started with one thing, and I think I probably agree with this, maybe, but I just hesitant to make a lot of changes too quickly. Are there any unforeseen implications, like, are we doing something we can't do by redefining what is and is not a standing committee? Are there any state statutes or private acts that we're trying to override with rules here?
None that I'm aware of, and if that does rear its head, we can always move them back.
Okay.
This is, every commission can do its own standing rules and
Yeah.
procedures. And if you don't have it, you operate strictly by Robert's rules. State law, your standing.
Private act.
And then Robert's rules. State law being private act.
Sure.
Whatever, that's what I mean. So,
Got it.
Commissioner Jones.
I think what clarifies it, if I may, is what he said to other statutory committees. It's still listed as a statutory committee, so it just moves it to other, not
Okay.
our rules.
Yeah, it does say other.
Our rules are standing,
That's fine.
that's what we recognize.
And that's the whole reason it says standing committees and subcommittees is section X. It goes through 1 through 9, and then it has its catch-all for 10. So if it's not in 10, it's a standing committee, is how I'm reading it.
Okay.
So my motion is to move those under number 10.
Under 10,
Which
so
will
that,
be 9 once.
And my motion, obviously, we already voted on, was just recommend legislative is only composed of these.
All right.
We're defining this, so we've already defined that.
Yeah.
No, but this is I thought this was a second.
It is.
Okay.
But I'm saying, Commissioner Becker has made the motion, Commissioner Jones has seconded.
I gotta clarify.
Okay, Commissioner Jones.
So we've got two classifications of standing committees now. We got the ones we recognize for, that make up legislative, then we have other standing committees. Are we okay with that language? Other statutory, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are we okay with that language separate the two?
Well, this just says.
One is the ones that make up legislative, the other one says other statutory committees. Standing is
No, it doesn't say.
one. I know, standing is one, other statutory is another.
That's the point.
All the rest of them
All
make
the
up
rest of them.
legislative currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah, my second is still.
we're just cleaning up the language to go with what, the conflict of 4 and the commission agenda, we're just getting things in line with that.
I still second his motion.
All right, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. All right. We'll move that to full commission. Title 6 policy revision. Do I have a motion for discussion? Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Teacher. All right, is there any discussion of did you have any clarification?
No, finance has done a good job putting it together. I reviewed it, and I see it's much better than we had before.
I'll make a motion to approve. Commission. All right, motion made by me, second by Commissioner Teacher, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. Item 10, commission recognition.
Motion to group and approve.
Motion to group and approve by
Second.
Commissioner Teachner, second by Commissioner Show. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, zoning, obviously is for docketing purposes only. There is no action to be taken unless.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meetings are up.